Hello everyone. This is now an episode to cover serotonin in the full picture. We're gonna get right into it. So you have been calling it the happiness chemical for years, but 90% of it is not even in your brain. So let's talk about what serotonin actually does, where it lives, and why it matters for beyond your mood. So we have already talked about dopamine and cortisol in this series. Now it's time for the one that gets called the happiness chemical. In every wellness article ever written, the problem is that label is so incomplete. It is almost misleading. Serotonin does not just control your mood, it controls your gut, your sleep, your appetite, your social behavior, and it is mostly made somewhere most people would never guess. So let's clear this up properly. First of all, let's debunk the three myths. The first one is serotonin is made in your brain. The truth is approximately 90 to 95% in your body's serotonin is produced in your gut, not your brain. It is made by specialized cells lining your intestines called enterochromaffin cells. Your brain only produces a small fraction of the total. This single fact reframes almost everything about how we talk about mental health, mood, and diet. Myth number 2. Low serotonin causes depression. The truth? This idea, known as the serotonin hypothesis, has been the dominant theory in psychiatry for decades. But a major 2022 review published in Molecular Psychiatry found no consistent evidence that depression is caused by low serotonin levels. Depression is real, complex, and serious, but is not simply a serotonin deficiency. The relationship is far more nuanced than a simple low versus high equation. Myth number 3. More serotonin always means better mood. The truth is, too much serotonin is a medical emergency called serotonin syndrome. It will cause agitation, tremors, fever, and in severe cases, life-threatening complications. Serotonin, like cortisol and dopamine, is about balance and timing. The goal is not to maximize it. The goal is to support the system that regulates it. Now let's get into what serotonin actually is. Serotonin is both a neurotransmitter and a hormone. Your body builds it from an amino acid called tryptophan, which you get entirely from food. It cannot be made from scratch without the right raw material. The tryptophan to melatonin pathway. So if you are listening to this in your car or in the gym, there is a graph that shows that the path to melatonin starts from tryptophan. You eat the food, mainly turkey, eggs, nuts, and seeds, and then tryptophan is created through amino acid absorbed from the gut. Serotonin then is created, and then at night melatonin will be produced. So serotonin is the direct precursor to melatonin. This is why sunlight exposure during the day directly improves your sleep at night. It starts the serotonin cycle that eventually converts into melatonin once darkness arrives. So what is it? It's a transmitter, a neurotransmitter, and hormone built from the amino acid tryptophan, found in the gut, brain, and bloodstream. Where is it made? 90 to 95% in the gut. Enterochromaffin cells, the remaining 5 to 10% in the brain's Raphi nuclei, the part that actually affects the mood. So what does it regulate? It regulates mood, digestion, appetite, sleep onset, social behavior, wound healing, bone density, and nausea response. So what blocks it? Chronic stress, poor sleep, low sunlight, poor gut health, low tryptophan diet, and social isolation all suppress serotonin activity. The gut-brain connection. This is part of serotonin science that most people have never heard, and it changes everything about how you think about mood, food, and mental health. The gut-brain axis, or how your gut talks to your brain. You'll see that the brain and the gut are connected to the vagus nerve, where the brain signals to the gut and then vice versa as well. But 90% of the traffic will be coming from the gut. The vagus nerve is the main communication highway between gut and brain. Most of the traffic flows upwards from your stomach to your brain, from gut to brain, which is why what you eat directly affects how you feel. What this means in practice, when your gut is inflamed, disrupted by poor diet, or lacking diverse bacteria, your serotonin production is directly affected. Improving your gut health is improving your mental health. They are not separate systems. They are one system with two locations. A 2015 study in Cell found that gut bacteria directly regulates the production of serotonin in the intestinal wall. Disrupting the gut microbiome reduces serotonin synthesis, and restoring it brings serotonin levels back. This is why antibiotics, ultra-processed food, and chronic stress can all make you feel mentally flat. It is also why fermented foods, fiber, and diverse plant-based eating are now linked to better mood outcomes. Serotonin and dopamine, how they balance each other. We covered dopamine in the episode 1 of this series. Here is how serotonin sits alongside it, because the two are deeply connected. For serotonin, it gives you the feeling of contentment, patience and calm, feeling enough, social connection, present moment ease. For dopamine, it gives you drive and desire, goal pursuit, wanting more, reward seeking, future focus energy. You need both. Dopamine without serotonin leads to restless chasing with no satisfaction. Serotonin without dopamine leads to contentment with no ambition. A well-regulated life has both in balance. The key difference here is that dopamine makes you want, serotonin makes you feel it was enough. And the spiritual connection here is that contentment, gratitude, and presence are serotonin states. The Islamic concept of qana'a, being satisfied with what Allah has given, is not just a spiritual virtue. It is, biologically speaking, a high serotonin state. When you practice gratitude and acceptance, you are literally supporting the chemical that makes you feel at peace. Signs your serotonin system needs support. Remember the myths. This is not about low serotonin. It is about a system that is not being supported well. These are patterns to notice in yourself. Ruminating thoughts that loop and will not stop. Feeling irritable, impatient, or easily overwhelmed for no clear reason. Craving sugar and carbohydrates heavily, especially in the afternoon and evening. Trouble falling asleep even when you feel tired. Withdrawing from social situations that you used to enjoy. A general sense of flatness. Nothing feels exciting or meaningful. Digestive issues, bloating, discomfort, or irregular digestion. I'm sure everyone has felt these things, went through them, myself included. So it could be that your serotonin system is lacking a lot of support. I want to make a note as well for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are medications that make more serotonin available in the brain by slowing its reabsorption. They help many people with depression and anxiety, but because the serotonin-depression link is more complex than a simple deficiency, they do not work for everyone. If you are struggling with your mental health, please speak to a doctor. This video is about the biology of serotonin, not a replacement for professional support. Now, how to support your serotonin naturally. These are the inputs that the science consistently points to. Most of them are free, all of them work together. Sunlight, the most powerful one. A landmark 2002 study in The Lancet found that serotonin turnover in the brain is directly and significantly higher on sunny days than on overcast ones, and the rate of production is correlated with the duration of bright sunlight. This is not a minor effect. It is one of the strongest natural regulators of serotonin known. Getting outside in the morning is not wellness advice. It is brain chemistry management. Gut health, feed the factory. Eat diverse plant foods. A wider variety of plants means a more diverse gut microbiome, which means stronger serotonin production. Include fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, kimchi for all the Korean fans out there, and similar foods directly support beneficial bacteria. Reduce ultra-processed food. It disrupts the gut lining and suppresses the bacteria that support serotonin synthesis. Eat tryptophan-rich foods daily. Eggs, turkey, chicken, oats, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Exercise and movement. Exercise increases the firing rate of serotonin neurons and boosts tryptophan availability in the brain. A 2008 paper in neuromolecular medicine found that regular physical activity creates a kind of learned resilience in the serotonin system, meaning the system becomes better at regulating itself over time. Consistency here matters more than intensity. Social connection and acts of kindness. Serotonin is fundamentally a social molecule. It rises when you feel respected, valued, and connected. Research consistently shows that pro-social behavior, helping others, giving and being generous, reliably boosts serotonin in both the giver and the receiver. This is the biology behind why service to others feels so meaningful. Nature and green spaces. Time in nature, particularly green environments, has been shown in multiple studies to reduce stress hormones and elevate serotonin activity. Even a 20-minute walk in a park produces measurable changes in mood and cortisol. The modern indoor life is a serotonin-suppressing environment by default. Gratitude practice. Intentional gratitude. Writing down what you are thankful for or expressing it in prayer activates the prefrontal cortex and is associated with serotonin activity. It also directly counters the rumination pattern linked to a dysregulated serotonin system. The practice works neurologically, not just spiritually. So for your daily serotonin protocol, for you to support your serotonin every day, you should be exposed to morning sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. Here I'm talking about the ideal scenarios. You can always do things in baby steps. So this is the single highest leverage action for serotonin, even on overcast days. Outdoor light is far stronger than indoor lighting. 5 to 10 minutes is enough to make a difference. Eat tryptophan at breakfast. Eggs, yogurt, oats with nuts. You are giving your body the raw material it needs to build serotonin for the day ahead. Every morning, I always start my day with a smoothie. A smoothie usually has milk. Now I just bought yogurt after finishing this research that I'm doing for serotonin. I usually add peanut butter, natural one, so that would be the element of adding seeds or nuts. And yeah, it's been working amazing for me so far. Move your body, ideally outside. You combine the serotonin boosting effects of exercise and sunlight at the same time. A morning walk is one of the most underrated mental health interventions available to anyone for free. Gratitude and prayer with presence. Alhamdulillah, or praise be to Allah, is not just a phrase said with attention and sincerity. It activates the exact neurological circuits associated with serotonin and contentment. Presence is the key word here. Eat real food, protect your gut. 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. What you eat is directly affecting your mental state. This is not a metaphor anymore, it is physiology. Connect with people you care about. Even one meaningful conversation, a check-in with family, or a moment of genuine connection raises serotonin. Social isolation is one of the fastest ways to suppress it. Wind down in darkness to allow melatonin conversion. The serotonin you build during the day converts to melatonin at night. Bright light and screens block that conversion. Protect your evenings and you protect your sleep and your next day's serotonin cycle. To go through a quick summary, serotonin is not just a brain chemical. 90 to 95% of it is made in your gut. Your diet is your mood. It is not simply the happiness chemical. It regulates sleep, appetite, digestion, social behavior, and your sense of enough. It balances dopamine. Dopamine drives pursuit, serotonin creates contentment. You need both. Sunlight is the most powerful natural trigger. Going outside in the morning is not optional, it is maintenance. Your gut health is your mental health. This is no longer philosophy, it is peer-reviewed science. Gratitude, connection, and prayer are serotonin practices. The spiritual life and the biological life are pointing at the same things. Today's self-coaching question: am I feeding my serotonin system or slowly starving it? Look at your sunlight, your food, your gut, your social life, and your moments of genuine gratitude. The answer is in those 4 things. And what I added here is my sources and references for this video that I worked on. You can pause here and you can look at it, but for now, I will say goodbye and see you tomorrow.